All right, today we're going to watch a simple to-do app get built from scratch. But here's the twist. Instead of the usual messy, chaotic process we're all familiar with, we're going to follow a super structured, almost recipe-like approach. The goal? To see how this can turn a simple idea into really clean, functional code. So, how do you turn a simple idea into flawless code? I mean, this is the question that plagues so many projects, right? You know the drill. You start with this great, simple idea, but somewhere along the way, things just get messy. Scope creep sets in, features get bloated, and the final product, well, it's kind of a shadow of what you first imagined. But what if there was a way, a real methodology to stop all that from happening? Well, here it is, a 3-step journey from an idea to actual working code. It's the blueprint, then the plan, and finally, the build. And we're going to treat this just like building a house. You have to start with a super detailed blueprint. Only then can you lay out the construction plan and finally start building. The key thing, Jer? Absolutely no guesswork. So let's meet our hero for today. A super simple command line to-do application. Yep, that's it. No fancy web interface, no complicated databases, nothing like that. We're keeping it basic on purpose so we can really focus on the process. We're going to watch it get built from the very beginning, all starting with this one super precise request that kicks the whole thing off. And this whole thing is built on a core idea called specification-driven development. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means the very first step has absolutely nothing to do with writing code. It's all about getting crystal clear on what to build. What does the user actually need? What exactly is this app going to do? You figure all of that out long before anyone even thinks about the how. Okay, so that brings us to the first major phase, the blueprint. This part is all about creating that perfect, crystal clear plan of action. The goal here is simple. Leave zero room for guesswork. No interpretation, no confusion later on. It all has to be spelled out right here. And how do you start? Well, you boil the entire application down to its absolute essence. Everything a user can do in this first version of the app, it's all defined in just 5 user stories. That's it. No more, no less. And here they are, those 5 stories. You can see it's all the essentials, right? Adding a task, viewing the list, marking something as complete, and, check this out, each one has a priority. This is huge because it clearly separates the must-haves from the nice-to-haves, like updating or deleting tasks, which are lower on the list. Now, here's something that's just as important as deciding what you're going to build, deciding what you're not going to build. The blueprint is super explicit here. It says no databases, no user accounts, none of that. Why? To prevent that dreaded villain of all software projects, scope creep. That slow addition of just one more feature that can totally derail everything. And this quote really nails the whole philosophy. The blueprint is technology agnostic. It doesn't care if you're writing in Python or Java or Rust or whatever. All it cares about is delivering value to the user and sticking to the rules we just laid out. It's all about the what, not the how. All right, so the blueprint is locked in. Everyone agrees on what we're building. Now we can move on to the next phase, the plan. This is where we create the detailed construction plan by breaking the entire project down into tiny, manageable, step-by-step tasks. And when I say tiny, I mean tiny. The whole app, from literally creating the first folder all the way to the final polish, it's broken down into exactly 36 individual tasks. Every single step, all accounted for. Nothing is left to chance. And if you look at how these tasks are broken down, you can really see the logic at play. A huge chunk of the work, look at that, 15 out of the 36 tasks is dedicated to foundational stuff. Think of this as the plumbing and the wiring of the house. You have to get that stuff perfect before you can even think about adding a user feature, like adding a new task. And the format for each task? Oh, it's just as precise. It's literally like a single step in a recipe. Every task gets an ID, a super clear description of what to do, and even tells you the exact file you need to work on. There is no ambiguity. Create this specific thing in this specific place. Okay, and now we get to the really satisfying part, the build. With the blueprint done and the plan laid out in excruciating detail, this phase isn't really about creative, on-the-fly problem solving. It's just about execution. It's about following that recipe we just made, one task at a time, with zero deviation. And you can see that methodical progress right here. It's like a checklist. We've got the 6 phases, from setup all the way to polish, and you just watch them get checked off one by one. It creates this incredibly clear, visible path from nothing to a finished working app. And here's where the magic really happens. You can see the direct link between the plan and the final code. A task on the left, like T004, directly leads to a file being created on the right. It's a perfect one-to-one relationship. There's no mystery about where the code came from. It's completely traceable all the way back to the original plan. So you might be thinking, okay, this is a lot of work. Why go through all this meticulous, almost obsessive planning for a simple little to-do app? What's the real payoff? Well, the answer isn't just about what you get. It's about what you avoid. And this really lays it out, doesn't it? It's a tale of two worlds. On the left, you've got the typical ad hoc development style, which, let's be honest, often ends in guesswork, confusion, and a ton of rework. But on the right, with this spec-driven approach, you get a world of clarity, predictability, quality, and a straight line from the requirement to the code. So let's just boil it down to the key takeaways. What does all this discipline get you? First, clarity before you write a single line of code. Second, all the work is broken into these small atomic chunks. Third, you get total traceability from the idea to the code. And here's a fascinating side effect. This kind of highly structured process, it's absolutely perfect for an AI partner to step in and execute flawlessly. And that really leaves us with a big question to chew on. As the software we build gets more and more complex, and as AI becomes a more powerful partner in that process, is this kind of super disciplined, structured approach still just a good idea? Or is it becoming an absolute necessity if we want to build reliable, high-quality software in the future?